Hey everybody, Gunnison Undercover. Today is Thursday, December 27th, 2018, and it's a beautiful day here in New Jersey. It's sunshine, no wind, low 40s. Kind of like it for winter time. So we have ourselves another one of these Facebook page postings by a police department. They can't do the job, so they need us to help them. This one comes out of Old Bridge Township, and it was posted on December 24th. And this is what they're asking here. It said between 6:30 p.m. and 6:50, so we're talking a 20-minute period. Last night, the picture suspect broke into a home on Farrington Road in Old Bridge. He used a shovel to break a rear kitchen window to gain entry. If anyone can identify the suspect from these images, please contact the detective. So I responded, and you know, whenever I respond to these things, if I'm not blowing out the narrative that everybody wants to hear, it starts a shitstorm. And of course, this one really started a shitstorm because all the lily wipes, cop apologists, and those that make excuses for police are home because it's a holiday, so they're staring at the computers and they got a little more time to yell at me. And I must say, I probably took on about 30 people. So let me just read you part what I wrote. I said, I'm the first respondent on here, I said, less time trolling the highways and watching cars go by looking for revenue and more time patrolling the neighborhoods. Then maybe you won't need us to help you do your job that you're all well paid to do. And then the detective, his salary is $107,000. And then I mentioned something else that really has nothing to do with the posting that they made. Now, my point is, it's not so much a target at Old Bridge Police, because I personally don't have any beefs with Old Bridge Police. But the point that I'm making is, we all see these cop cars sitting in a parking lot by an intersection, or they're parked on the side of the road, and they're looking at us. And they're driving up and down the highway looking at us. They got their plate readers, they got their radar, they're running plates on their computers. We see it all the time. But then when you're home at your house, how often do you see a cop car drive down your street if you live on a side street? How often do you see it? Almost never. And that's the point that I was making with that post. That you guys need, that police have their priorities mixed up. And I don't necessarily blame the police for having their priorities mixed up, because I understand politics puts pressure on them to generate revenue, and they don't generate revenue by patrolling the neighborhood. They generate revenue by pulling cars over, issuing summonses, and if they can find somebody they can arrest, that generates even more money. So when they're not responding to calls, particularly around here in Monmouth County where I live, it's not a metropolis, it's a suburban area with some areas a little bit busier than others. So when they're not responding to calls, which is, they don't, listen, most police around here do not answer a lot of calls, and if they do, they're nuisance calls. So the bulk of their time is spent sitting on the side of the road watching us, trying to give motor vehicle tickets out. And I'm going to do a video on this. Just a report came out there and showed which towns issued the most tickets. And Deal, New Jersey was one of them. So this is where, you know, the purpose of it is that they generate revenue. And that was the whole purpose of this, is to call them out on this and say, you know, you need to spend less time watching us and start patrolling the neighborhoods. So, here we go. I'm going to read some of the oh, look, it shows right now, today's the 27th at almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There's been 107 previous replies to what I've said. Some of those replies are mine. So let's just click on it, and I'll try to read some of the stuff. One person said, this was Stacy Combs, she said they are using the internet as another tool the way they used to put posters up in the old days. Now, I would agree with her, and I don't really personally have a problem with the police asking for the public's help. I'm more than happy to help my neighbor if I recognize somebody that committed a crime against them, broke a law, and caused injury to them. I'm more than happy to help them. And really, this posting about the police asking for help, it's not so much about them asking help, okay? It's really about how they allocate their time protecting, protecting the neighborhood. So Stacy Combs puts another remark on here. She goes, you are not helping the community with your anti-cop rants and your narcissistic rants on how you could run the police department better, which is basically what you're reading between the lines of all your nonsense. What would help us is if you got your ass out and started perhaps some community center to benefit to needy or to benefit veterans or to form a neighborhood watch. Well, why would I do a neighborhood watch if we got the police? Comes back to my thing, if they're patrolling and not trolling. So I don't know what that has to do with what I said here. You could do a neighborhood watch, Citizens United, so that you could air your gripes with the police department in a proper forum to make your community safer. But you have to have a realistic plan. But there isn't a place in the world where you are going to rid your community of all evil. That utopia does not exist. Well, there's some truth to that. And I am trying to do my part to help the neighborhood. I'm trying to expose the nonsense that goes on with our police, okay? And it's not to beat them up. It's to help them understand what it is that they're doing, because they're always telling us what we're doing, but everybody's afraid to tell them what they're doing. And when somebody like me speaks up and says something, all of the police excusers and apologists and whatever you want to call them, the believers, they jump out. How dare you say those things? So let me continue on here. Kathleen Garrity, she says, Old Bridge has police officers whose specific job is to stop speeding motorists, many of whom turn to road rage incidents. They help in accidents and have many other duties as traffic and safety officers. Both of my brother-in-laws are also police officers. They leave their homes daily to protect and, here we go again, protect and serve the communities where they work. They earn every penny that they and their brothers, see, here we go, they're going to separate themselves. They and their brothers, sisters make. I'm not going to explain all duties of detectives, patrol officers. I just pray you or anyone you know or love never have a need for their services. If you do, I'm quite sure you will be comforted to see them. It is a job, so if I call them, I expect them to show up. Here we go. Here's another one. This is Lisa Real Friedland. She says, so Johnny boy, why don't you go out and become a police officer and maybe work in Newark or Camden and see how so-called easy they have it. Even the so-called safest neighborhoods have crazies that attack cops. So until you become a cop, shut up your waste product. Now, this is the other thing that they like to do. They like to call me names. I never call anybody names. Except for when I'm describing the people that are yelling at me, I call them cop lovers, cop suckers, blue goers, whatever you want to call them. So, let me go on here. Ken Hagen, he responds, says, your point goes against everything you say. Obviously, they did their job. I'm guessing you are a local loser. They all know. Again, name calling. No, Ken Hagen, if they did their job, that house would not have been broken into, and they would not be on here asking for my help or our help. Let's see. So a couple of responses. I responded to Lisa Real Freeland. I said, that's like the garbage man complaining he stinks. I have a question for you, since you're so knowledgeable about police. Name the number 1 and number 2 cause of police fatalities. Because they keep saying how dangerous their job is. Their job is not in the top 10. The garbage man has a more dangerous job, okay? The job becomes dangerous because they make it dangerous by their aggressive behavior and their being in a big hurry to do something. That's how it becomes dangerous. They put themselves in those dangerous situations. Now, I'm not saying when they go to a domestic call that is dangerous. Yes, it is dangerous, but that's part of the job. And that's where I say, that's like the garbage man saying, hey, I've got a tough job because I stink at the end of the day. Well, you signed up for the job, and this is what the job pays, and that's what the job entails. You can't cry to me because you stink at the end of the day. Same thing to the cop. You signed up for a job where at times when you go to enforce a law, you may deal with somebody very highly emotional who's not going to be so nice towards you. And that may cause you to have to get physical with them. And I think most cops enjoy getting physical with other men. They really do. I'm absolutely, because I know one thing about big guys. They enjoy getting physical with other guys. So, let's see. Let me continue down here. I'm just doing maybe one more or two more, because you can go read them yourself. Okay, we got Joe Novak, and he says, hey, genius. There we go. Name calling. Did you ever think maybe he's sitting there because people like you complain about cars racing by and want something done about it? The problem is then people like you complain that you get nailed for speeding by and feel like you are some kind of victim. Don't like it? Take the test. Don't be a hater, cause you know damn well if it were your family member that was injured by a car speeding by, you would be the first one complaining, why aren't the police enforcing speeding laws? Walk in their shoes. Bet you couldn't. Well, Joe Novak, I bet you I could. Okay? Now, let me say something, because they always say, oh, you know, you must be one of those ones that speeds and all that. I don't have a problem with police enforcing motor vehicle laws. There has to be some kind of enforcement to stop nitwits from driving like jerks and getting nitwits off the road. My problem is that there's a price tag attached to the ticket. Why should a town profit off a ticket? You take that profit out of that ticket, and now that takes the mischievousness out of issuing tickets. So the people getting tickets are the ones that deserve to get tickets. The cop is not pressured to go out and generate money for the town. And you get a ticket, you pay a fine for that ticket, and then your car insurance comes around and whacks you again. I say you get a ticket, you get it some points. You know, if it's a low-level ticket, you get, I don't know, 0.25 points, you know, and then if it's moving violation stuff, then you get the regular 2 points, 4 points, whatever. And then you pay the price of your car insurance. That's how you get punished. You get punished for your car insurance. But this crap where the cops go out and they spend their whole day driving around trolling for money. And I challenge any of you people out there, go and see how much money your town is generating revenue from tickets being issued. Okay? Every ticket they write here in New Jersey, moving violation ticket, the town gets about 50% of that money. So do the math. And let me see what else here. And there was actually one person on here who agreed with me. Joe Palagonia. He said, spot on. I've been saying the same thing for years. They want to hide and give people who are paying their salaries tickets. Again, I don't have a problem with admission tickets. I got a problem with the money that's attached to the ticket, because that's what creates the mischievousness. So let me just see, go down here. There's just so many for me to go through. I could spend the whole day on this. Here we go. Rosalie Barbero de Meglio. She says, do not criticize police life till you walk in his shoes for a few days. You cannot just make everyone happy. One question, were you home Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with your family? Most police were out patrolling, not with your families, and every time they leave their house, they wonder if they will come home at night. Okay, I'll say it again and I'll say it again. It's part of the job. You signed up for the job. So this is like the garbage man complaining. He comes home and he stinks like garbage, okay? If you don't want those hours, don't take that job. And I could say probably without reservation, most of these small towns on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, the cops are home with their patrol car. And if they get a call, they jump in the car. If they live in town, they jump in their car and they go out and they respond. Or they're at headquarters. They're not out there doing things. And they're getting paid extra money to work that holiday, no doubt. And they're paid well. So, I don't buy this argument. And as far as criticizing, it's my job as a citizen to hold my government accountable. So if I want to talk about what they're doing, and if you want to call it criticize, well, then that's what it is. I'm criticizing, but I'm pointing something out. Just like they do to us. They point out to us things that we should be doing. Every one of these Facebook pages where the police had some little thing on there. The do's and don'ts of Christmas. The do's and don'ts of drinking. The do's and don'ts of lights. All right, let me do one more. Carolyn Dzerlik. Sad to say, reading these comments, that's why I say, miss the old school Jersey people, respect, honor, and family values, especially the teachers, cops, and the American flag. I moved out 5 years ago, and every time I go back, I get more disappointed how it's changed. No village, no community. All right, let me say this. Respect is earned, it's not given. Just because you do something in the line of work doesn't mean I'm automatically going to give you respect. I give you the same respect as a human being. But if you want a lot of respect, then you earn it. Just like I earn your respect. Now, as far as respecting the teachers and cops, I just said that. Now, respecting the American flag. I respect the American flag. You know who does not respect the American flag? Guess who? They have that little gang flag, you know, the blue and black stripes on it. Yeah. That's not a flag. That's a desecrated American flag that represents a gang. It represents us and them. The American flag is all-inclusive. It represents everybody in America. But your little friends that you're sticking up and making excuses for takes that flag and desecrates it, and you're okay with that. You don't say nothing about that. But when I exercise my First Amendment right as a citizen to hold my government accountable, you got something to say. And I'll finish this up with this. You know, the same narrative that I keep hearing all the time on these posts when I talk about the police and what they're doing is I always hear they're here to protect and serve me. We know that's not true. What a top job they got. We know that's not true. And I should shut up and I should become a cop. Well, that's not possible because I'm too old to be a police officer. And maybe 30 years ago, knowing what I know, the pay and the money they make and everything, it would have been a good career choice. And I probably would not fit in because I would be a human. I'd be a human, a cop being a human, not a human being a cop. And I would be treating everybody a lot nicer than some people get treated. All right, so folks, I'll put the link in the description. It's already on my Facebook page, Gunnison Undercover. And you can actually go to this Facebook page posting from Old Bridge Township where they are asking for help. And I went on the attack and pointed out that they should spend less time trolling the neighborhoods. I mean, trolling the highways when they should be patrolling the neighborhoods and get their priorities straight. So go there, look, read the things for yourself, and you know, feel free to respond to some of the people out there, because they really, a lot of these white people out here, they're very misguided, and they have a lot of mind viruses that the propaganda has taken root in their mind. And no matter how much you try to explain to them what, you know, like to protect and serve, they're not here to protect and serve. They're here to enforce laws. And when you try to tell them these things, they just don't get it. It's just right over their heads. They don't understand. And this is the problem. And when you read these comments that they made in response to what I said, this is why we have bad police. This is why there's no accountability with police, because the public, the general public, buys into all the propaganda and gives them a pass for what they're doing. And it's usually associated with lily whites, middle whites, upper whites, people who don't deal with the police, or maybe never dealt with the police, put it that way. But, you know, people from the trailer park and the hood, they understand about the police. They got a much better understanding. That's why I never get any postings from black people or, black people, you know, they never get on there and say, hey, you know, the police are here to protect and serve, because you know what? They got a more realistic view of life. They don't live behind that little white picket fence in that house with their air conditioning and their big screen TV. And as long as the internet works, and little Sally can get her little cupcake, and you know, little Johnny has his Nike sneakers. You know, that's their world, and that's all they know about that world, and they buy into all the propaganda. All right, this is Gunnison Undercover. Sorry to make this a little lengthy today. It's just the way it is. Like, share, subscribe. We're getting more subscribers every day, which is fantastic. And if you have a story or something you think I'd be interested in, get me at GunnisonUndercover@gmail.com. Till next time, as always, keep an eye on the police. Watch them, because they're watching us.